kind of start this thing off, right? All right. So we're just doing agent. This is our Agent Builders Mastermind, and I'm excited about what we're gonna have here today. But let's start off with some good news, man. We got some really good agents out here. Let's who wants to share some good news of some things that they have going on, or business wise, personal, whatever. Let's start this off with some good news.
All right.
Jennifer, if nobody is saying anything. So I capped last month, so I'm happy.
That's huge.
Yes, that's huge. Because I have a lot of months ahead of me. So I'm happy.
So now we're about to head to Icon, right?
No, I'm not going to kill myself. No. Okay. Killing myself is not one of my plans.
All right. Well, congrats on the cap.
Thanks.
Anybody else got some good news they want to share with the group?
All right, well, let me get the weather started.
What's up, John?
Hey there.
All right. So for everybody don't know, John's new to the group, and I'm super excited that he partnered with us. Congrats for that, John, and we got some big things happening for you.
Good. Okay.
All right, cool. All right. Anybody else want to share some good news with the group? So I've got Trent in the house. What's going on, Trent?
What's going on?
All right. Congrats on the capping part of it. All right. Anybody want to share some good news?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ashton.
Yeah, just let you know I became an Icon agent. So that's going to be for the month of July.
Awesome, man. That's huge. Huge. So you get your full stock awards for that. So congratulations on that, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Andre.
Partner. Yeah, great job.
Now I have to become Icon agent for agent attraction.
Yeah, the more deals you do, the more houses that you sell, the more agents that want to sell more houses you can attract for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody else want to share with the group some good news?
I got some good news. We got Al Stasek on here today. Going to talk to us about growing our business and how he's done it and how we can do it too. So that is big news. Thank you, Al.
Yep. Al's gonna bring the fire as he travels to the lake. So, all right. Anybody else? We got some rock star agents. Let's go ahead. Let's share some more good news. Let's keep it going. All right. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate everybody for jumping on. We do these once a month on the second Friday of every month where we're bringing somebody that's killing it. And today we got my buddy Al Stasek, team out of Ohio, doing 250, 300 transactions a year. Actually created a call center where he's helped people, book appointments. Been helping me personally as far as like my business and growing and so many other folks and just an all-around good person. He's built an organization over 6,000 agents, and he's going to talk to us as he head to the lake. So Al, man, we're gonna go ahead and turn it on to you, buddy, and let you go ahead and take it from here.
Oh man, I appreciate it, James. Thanks for having me on with everybody. Just so I know I'm talking to the right. Everyone on here is a honey badger, right?
Not everybody. Some people are just our guests that we invited.
We got guests.
Get some information. Yes.
All right. Well, shout out to Honey Badger Nation. Anyone that's in Honey Badger Nation, we shout out to them. But, you know, I told your assistant, James, that I wanted to talk about follow-up, but I changed my mind. There's a couple things that changed my mind, and I'll share those with you. First of all, Coach Bert's already doing a great job on training on follow-up, and if you haven't signed up for that training, I'm sure you can get the link out to everybody because we have 3 weeks left of that training, and it's absolute fire. And I know for sure it's going to help everyone, you know, grow their business through this correction that's happening right now. And that's actually what I do want to talk about, but I want to talk about it in not a doom and gloom phase. The good news is, last time this happened, I'll just tell a quick story. I started my team with RE/MAX in 2007. In fact, it was January of 2007. Prior to that, I helped start a discount brokerage in Ohio, and we grew that through all the good times. From September 11th, when that happened, the interest rates dropped. They were pumping money into the economy, and it was just real easy to sell houses. They were giving loans out to people who just said they could afford it. It was a wild, wild west. And in 2006, I made a decision. I needed to pivot and start my own team because I didn't have any ownership in that company. And I didn't know what was about to happen. And I want everyone to kind of listen to this and put it in some context. I don't know how many people on this call were in the real estate business in 2004, 5, and 6. If you were, then maybe. And if you were not, because those 3 years kind of felt 3 years. I mean, homes were just flying off the market. Prices were going up. Good to sell 30, 40 homes a year. You didn't have to have high sales skills. It was literally like taking orders. And a lot of agents that came into the business in 2004 and 5 actually got a false sense of security that they were like, hey, this is easy. I'm pretty good at this. Then all of a sudden, 2007 came about. And that's when, what do they say? The chickens came home to roost, or I don't know what the terminology is, but all of a sudden everyone got sobered up because they started discovering that, wow, I need to have skills. And so for me, hey, James, I think you might need to mute some people. You want to mute them, James?
Yeah, I just muted them.
All right, cool. So for me personally, I was one of those that was like, oh wow, this is great. It's easy. We're stacking money. Things are great. And all of a sudden, 2007, I left that company. I started a team with RE/MAX. I wasn't feeling the change right away, but I knew that I needed to, launch a website and do all the things that you do when you start a new company. Because I was essentially starting a team, which is like starting a new company. And I was putting everything on the credit card, including my RE/MAX monthly fees. It was all going on the credit card. I'm like, I can make this back, no problem. Well, $50,000 in debt later, short sales, all these things start happening. And I found myself, literally blew through all my savings. In 2008, I thought I was literally having to go look for other work just to pay the bills. I had one of my rental properties ended up upside down in foreclosure. It was just bad. Now, I'm saying all this not to scare you. I'm saying all this is because when I look back at 2008, it was it's a year I'll never forget. My father had a heart attack, had to get a quadruple bypass surgery. I was broke as a joke. We got delivered foreclosure papers on one of our rental properties. my wife at the time literally had to answer the door to get served. I don't know if anybody on this call has ever been served foreclosure papers, but it'll ruin your day. And so I remember there, like, sitting there saying, there is no way that I'm going to let this take me down. There's no way. And I say that to say this, I was in survival mode and I was playing defense just to keep, I had two little ones. Like I had two little boys under the age of 4. And so wife's not working. It was up to me or it wasn't happening. And so I was forced, because I was playing defense, to think outside the box. And what I ended up doing was I found someone in Florida. It was in the newspaper. And what they did was they rented a bus, and they were literally taking all these investors around on a bus, and they were doing multiple showing foreclosure properties. Sorry about that. My back. Can you hear me now, James?
Yeah, you back.
Sorry about that. Had a call come in. And so anyways, long story short, I duplicated what these people were doing up in Cleveland. I rented a huge, like one of those long distance luxury type of buses. And I ended up, I don't know how it ended up happening, but the news got a hold of it. And the next thing you know, I'm on every news channel, got wrote up nationally on USA Today, and my business ended up blowing up. I think I literally sold out 2 buses, and I had, a lender pay for lunch on it and this and that. And it literally, like, it was like the turning point of digging me out of a really super deep, dark hole. Now, I say all that not to say, yes, there's a lesson in thinking outside the box, but all I really did was copycat what someone else was doing, really. I didn't innovate anything, but I went and did it. I saw it, I did it. And other people, I got criticism. Most of the people were like, oh, that's a clever idea. And then there's the small subset of the media that were like, oh, the doom and gloom bus, because we were going to homes that were foreclosed. So anyways, I say this, we're coming into an area in our business where you're going to need to build skills again. And I believe that because we have a head start and we know, like before I was completely blind, I didn't see it coming. Now we know it's coming. And I don't believe it's going to be as bad as it was then. In fact, I think that it's going to just go back to somewhat of a normal market. And no one really knows. You got half the people saying doom and gloom, the sky's going to fall. I don't believe that's going to happen. We have healthier loans out there. I think what's going to happen is people are going to have to go back to work. That's what they're going to have to do. Americans are going to have to actually go back to work. And the good news is we need workers. So I think there's a demand for labor. I think we're going to be okay, but it's going to go back to somewhat of a more balanced market. And that's a healthy thing. That's a good thing. And I believe that this is an opportunity for everyone on this call to add another zero to your wealth. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you're worth $100,000, this is your opportunity to add a zero and become a millionaire. If you're worth $1 million, it's an opportunity to add a zero, become a $10 million net worth. And the way you do that is through investing. Like right now, I can tell you all the people that in my circles, the people that I'm on mass text messages, people that are way more wealthy than me, they're stacking cash right now. And they're getting ready. And I can tell you the reason I started this off with the story about how I lost everything. And I didn't file for bankruptcy or any of that. I dug my own ass out of that hole because I put myself there. That's the way I looked at it anyway. And and I said this, I made a promise to myself. I said, number one, I never want to live through this again. But number two, if it ever does happen again, I'm going to be ready for it. Because what I did when I was digging myself out of that hole in 2008 and 9 is I was helping all these investors buy all these houses for pennies on the dollar. Those guys made multi-millions of dollars in that downturn. And what was I doing? I was working for tips as a real estate agent, helping these guys get wealthy. And so I guess the lesson that I want to share with everybody is that, you know, if you get burned one time in a down market, hey, it happens to the best of us. But learn the lessons from it. I know I did. I went through an immense amount of pain that I don't ever want to see anybody go through. And I think that just now that you guys, you know, kind of, we all have a heads up this time around. It felt like the last time it crept up on us a little bit. At least for me, it did. And so that's really kind of the message I want to share with everybody. This is an opportunity to add another zero to your net worth. I heard a really great podcast from Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you guys know him or follow him, but check out his latest on the market crash. It's a really great video. And I believe every word that he says in there is that this is a huge opportunity to grow the wealth. And so, I mean, I could pause, James, if if anybody has some questions. If not, I was going to kind of wrap up with, some strategies. Like I'm up in obviously North Ohio, but I was kind of going to wrap up and talk about, like, if I were to be dropped out of a plane and parachute into Atlanta, Georgia, or just a place that I've never lived, and I had one thing to do to make money, and it was sell real estate, what would I do? I was going to kind of wrap up with that, but I was going to pause before, kind of going into that with any little Q&A.
Yeah. Right now, but before he gets into that part of it, does anybody have any questions about some of the stuff he's talking about right now? And that's great, Al, by the way, because during that downturn, it hit a lot of people by surprise. I mean, I was able to take advantage of some of the housing prices at the time myself. But, like, anybody got some questions they want to talk to Al about? Ask him about this, what he's talking about.
Hey, so Al, in 2008, I was a mortgage broker, got crushed, and I'm seeing, some of the same trends. So you're saying invest. Now, when you're speaking of investment, are you speaking of waiting to position yourself? I don't know when it's gonna come. I think it's gonna come pretty soon, next 10 months or so. But are you saying, hey, group up and buy properties, or invest in your marketing to get investors out there? What do you mean specifically when you say invest?
Well, I mean, this message might be coming late to some people, but what I guess I mean by is that, if right now the market is still good, and I would do the best you can right now to stack cash, keep your credit clean and high, and be in a position that when there's an opportunity that you can take advantage of it. Okay. Back in 2005, 6, 7, I had 780 credit scores. I was all proud of it. I had high credit. We had savings in the bank. Money's flowing good. And then I got hit by a 2x4, and I could barely afford Netflix, which wasn't even around, I don't think, at that time. But you get what I'm saying. And so I wasn't in a position to take advantage of the opportunities. What I ended up doing was finding all of these other people who were ready, who were stacking cash, who were prepared for an opportunity if it came along, and I helped them get very wealthy. I helped other people add a zero to their net worth instead of my own. Whereas me, I was just trying to keep my nose above water. I was literally, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, because, I want everybody to hear it. I was literally paying my mortgage payment with a credit card. And then to pay that credit card, I was using another credit card to pay that credit card. That's how bad it was. And I tell this story because I love out there. You know, I don't want to see anybody in that kind of pain because I felt it. And I don't know. It was like one of those things that it took me some years to shake that off. You know, like it hits you hard. I mean, it can break apart a marriage. You know, it can, you know, obviously break you financially. It can break you emotionally, you know. And so I'm not saying be scared. What I'm saying is get excited and be prepared. You know, be prepared to go into battle like a honey badger. Okay. And if you're prepared, you're going to go into this market on offense, not on defense. Does that make sense to everybody? Stay on offense. Stay out of the defensive mode. To be able to do that, you got to be prepared. You got to, you know, stack your cash. Make sure that you're in a position when an opportunity comes along that you're ready for it. That's I guess what I'm saying.
Love it.
I'm glad to see you survived the market as a mortgage broker.
Yes.
God bless you.
Rough.
It was tough on all of us those years. Yeah.
Love it. So I got a question. All right. So what are some of the things that you did, like marketing wise, to get out of that situation, for somebody that is looking to actually, you know, get business, you know, say maybe they didn't, you know, obviously, you wasn't prepared for that stuff. What is some of the strategies and things that you did marketing wise in order to get your business going?
Yeah. So during that time, clearly I didn't have a lot of money, really, if any. So I had to go to what we call the low hanging fruit, for sale by owners and expireds. And my morning routine was I would get up early, hit the gym. My gym was next to my office. I'd walk over to the office. I'd pull the expireds out. I'd pick the top 3 most attractive expired listings. And I literally drove. I had a pre-listing packet, and I would drive and drop them off in the morning because I knew that my competition was going to mail them postcards. And I was going to mail them too. And I was going to still call them that evening. But I wanted to like literally knock on the door of the top 3. I did that Monday through Friday, every morning, never missed the morning. And sometimes, you know, I would get there and the house was vacant. So I wouldn't leave a packet, obviously. But if it wasn't vacant, I'd knock on the door, meet the owner, hand it to him. I would just say, hey, you know, hey, Mr. Jones, I know that your home recently came off the market. Sometimes they didn't even know it because their agent didn't tell them. And I'm not here to waste your time or take any of your time. I just wanted to apply for the job of being your next agent if you're interviewing for a next agent, and give you my resume and my packet of things here, and would like to make an appointment at your convenience. And that was really all I did. And I did 3 houses a day, the top 3 that I wanted to list. And then at 6 o'clock, I'd make my calls on expireds and for sale by owners. And I kept doing that until I stacked listings. And I really didn't do anything else but that. And that's because I had no money to do anything else. Barely had enough money to put gas in the car. And so a lot of newer agents on this call right now may not even know what an expired listing is, because we haven't really had many. Everything sells. But in case you don't know, an expired listing is a failed listing that never sold. And it's gonna be coming back. And I made a fortune just on expireds alone. What I ended up doing is, once I started seeing success in getting these listings, I eventually hired my first ISA, which is an inside sales associate. And I found her on Craigslist. And the reason I did that, and actually this is a cool story, because that's how I met Jay Kinder. I met Jay Kinder because he ended up, I got on his list and he was marketing to me, marketing. And the one marketing piece he sent me was an email. It said, how to take 72 listings in 30 days. And I'm like, what? No, it was how to set 72 listing appointments, excuse me, in 30 days. And I'm like, all right, this redneck from Oklahoma's got my attention now. What the hell is this kid talking about? And so I watched this was just a free video that he emailed me about an inside sales associate. Never even heard of it. But I said to myself, if I could find somebody to take over the phone part and get me on even more appointments, here's what I knew. I didn't know a whole lot about nothing, but here's what I knew. I knew that if I could get face-to-face, and if I only had so many hours in a day, and the more hours I could spend face-to-face with a seller that was looking to sell their home and me helping them solve that problem, the better I was going to be, the more listings I was going to take, and the more money I would make. I know that sounds pretty basic, but that's just kind of how I thought of it. Anything else other
All right, like he's frozen a little bit. He comes back. All right, so while he's frozen, let's kind of open it up. I know, he's talking about inside sales agents. I know, Dan, you use inside sales agents. I've used inside sales agents. Levi's used inside sales agents. Trent's used, so there's a good number of us that use those inside sales agents that he's talking about. It really is a game changer in your business. I know whenever I'm talking to somebody, even for me, myself, the most high producing per hour activity you can do is actually get in front of a buyer or seller. So the more that you take other things off of your table, like, paperwork, for instance, or, transaction coordinating, or like I said, having an inside sales agent to create leverage, that's how you're going to start to actually make more and more money in and of itself. So Levi, man, I know, like I said, I know you've been doing real good out there as far as just, sales and stuff like that. And you've had your inside sales agents, man. You want to kind of speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, it really is. It's a game changer. Once you find a good source of leads, the ISA kind of takes up. They fill that gap, which takes up a lot of our time, which is sitting on the phone. And most of us don't like to be on the phones. So there are services out there that you can actually hire, and depending on who it is, if it's American or if they're in the Philippines, your prices will change. You'll pay a little bit more for somebody that's here domestically, but it's definitely a good use of your time. It's really putting your money to work. Yeah, the goal is to be able to show up to appointments.
I know when I first started, I was the inside sales agent for my team, right? And I just right off the rip decided that, hey, I'm gonna have a team. I called myself a team. It was me and a partner and that was it, lender and a closing attorney. So that was the team, right? So I was that first inside sales agent that used to make all those phone calls. But then I got good at it, and I was able to bring somebody else on board, and I'll be able to train them to do the same thing. But I'll tell you, once I started getting an inside sales agent that was able to make the phone calls for us, that the business just kind of took off from there. Like appointments was coming in left and right, simply because if it's their only job, because you think about it, us as a real estate agent, like we got all these hats that we wear, right? All these little situations and problems that we deal with. But if you got somebody, their only job is to call and book appointments, they're probably going to be better at it than you eventually. Because that's their only thing that they have to be concerned about. So, like, I would suggest, like, as soon as you can, I know everybody, got their own timetable stuff, but as soon as you can to get that type of stuff off of your table, off of your plate, so you can start getting in front of people. What's up, Ty? I see you got your hands up, brother. Gotta take yourself off mute.
Yeah. So it was two things that Levi brought up in that in mentioning the ISAs. One is what should one typically allocate towards the cost? Say you're going to dedicate 6 months towards the effort. All right. And when we say a good source of leads, before you get the ISA, I'm going to assume here that you need to have a good pipeline for them to work on. So let's say you just starting this. What does that setup look like in terms of financing it and executing it?
So pretty much it's number one, where you gonna spend your money, and how you're gonna generate your leads. So am I gonna put some ads into KV Core to generate some people to come in that way? Am I going to invest in Make It Rain? Am I going to invest in Zillow or whatever the case may be? But I'll be honest. You'll find your less expensive ISAs overseas, but when I initially did that, it wasn't the best use of my money because I really wasn't doing what I should have been doing, which is having like a daily call with them and training them. Right. I know that's one thing that James did that clearly, made him a lot more successful in the beginning than we were, because I was just hiring the ISA and saying, okay, y'all go to work. And then when I wasn't getting no appointments or the appointments were not sticking, then I was saying, man, it's not working. But James had the same type of process. The only difference is he wasn't just letting them make the calls. He was actually getting on the call with them every single morning and training them. So once I actually found a company, I forget who it was, but it was a local company where they did all the in-house training and all that stuff. It was like $12 an hour, but the quality of my appointments got better because they had in-house training. So I think a big part of it is, when you're talking about your price or your cost, determining, how much input you're going to have to make it successful. But there's so many different sources, and a lead is a lead. It's just a matter of how many touches, how many times somebody's going to be able to get in contact with them or reach out to them. I think it's 8 to 14 times should be minimum. And as agents, we just maybe we don't have the time, or maybe we're not disciplined. So having somebody in that gap to do that, it will be beneficial.
Yeah. What's up, Al? Al's back now.
Hey, sorry about that. I don't know if I hit a dead spot or what.
Nah, no problem, man. We was just kind of like, we had a couple questions, about the ISAs that you was talking about, just being able to transition and what that looks like, as far as time-wise for it to be productive.
Yeah. So I was catching I caught it on the end of that. And I know we're probably, how much time we got?
We could go to one.
Okay. So just to kind of wrap up on the ISA thing, because I know that that's going to be a strategy that someone want to deploy, and for others maybe not. So I kind of want to go through that strategy and a strategy that I'm currently working on, because I'm actually doing both. I have an ISA right now. I have her calling data that is coming from two funnels that I'm running right now. And I think that was the question for the gentleman that was just on. What data are they going to call? And it's a really, really good question, because that has to be addressed. The different data sources are for sale by owners, expireds, which we know that those are on a little bit of a thin side, right? You also have neighborhood data, meaning picking just literally a targeted neighborhood that has really good turnover rates, that has a price point that you want to, that's where you want to sell. and then having someone just unleash and call every single person in the neighborhood and do what we call a survey call. And the survey call is really effective for these reasons. Number one, you don't need a highly skilled inside salesperson to make a survey call. It's not hard. Therefore, you could find a little bit of a cheaper labor dollar to make those calls. Because again, it's not a sales call. It's literally just a survey call. And the survey call could be something like, hey, hi, Mr. Levi. I'm not calling to sell you anything. It's not a sales call. I'm literally just doing a market survey on your particular neighborhood. We're just kind of trying to find out how many people in the neighborhood are thinking of selling their home and are listing it in the next, 6 to 12 months. And they're literally just collecting data. That's it. They're also confirming that they actually have a seller with a phone number that's valid. And then they're finding out if they're thinking of selling in the next 12 months. Now you can go further with the survey or just leave it at that. Nice, short, sweet. But then of course they would be passing that on to you to then go, call and then set up an appointment. What I'm doing right now is I'm running a cash offer funnel, and I'm also running a downsize funnel. I'm targeting people who are looking to downsize and people that are looking for a fast offer. My ISA is following up on those leads, and then she's going through what's called a seller counseling interview, which you guys can find in all the NAEA stuff that's offered in Honey Badger Nation. So she basically fills out the seller counseling interview, and then she refers that lead out to usually either one or two agents for them to interview for that are EXP agents on one of the teams I work with up here in Cleveland. So that's one thing I've deployed, but I've been doing that for over a year now. I don't have a team anymore. You had said I'm no longer selling 300 homes a year. I sold my team earlier this year, but I'm still marketing and I'm still providing seller leads to the agents that are in my area, the EXP agents. And just to kind of shift from that topic over to the other thing, that if I were to be dropped in Atlanta, Georgia, not knowing anybody, number one, I'd be picking a place to live that is one of the most desirable places to live, not super, super high end, but a sweet spot, if you will, of where people really want to be and where they want to live. And I would start a YouTube channel, and I would be the Incredible Hulk in a puddle. I'd literally just be owning the mind share of everyone in that area, or anyone that's searching for homes in that area. They're going to find me on YouTube. They're going to know the best place to get their hair cut. They're going to know the best place to get a taco. They're going to know the best pizza place. They're going to know what the best neighborhoods are and why. I'm going to be like all that. That's what I would do is if I had to go back into the sales in a city that I nobody knew me, I would own the airwaves in YouTube. And if you guys want a reference on what, the training that I've gone through, it's Levi Lasix training. I'm sure you guys probably have taken it or bought it or whatever, but it's golden. And that's a blueprint, and that's a shortcut right to exactly how to do it the right way. I won't get into all those things today because Levi just does too good of a job with it. But be deliberate, take action. And I believe that everyone can thrive instead of playing defense in this new market we're about to experience.
Right, man. That's a good point. I mean, we've been copying some of that stuff from him as well. So, and he does a really good job with it. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great point with that. Anybody got some questions that they want to ask Al? I see Trent got his hands up. What's up, Trent?
Yeah, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to comment when Al was talking about investing and leveraging. I'm starting I've already started this week. It's a webinar I'm doing. I put the link in the chat. We're partnering with agents and offering agents that find good investment opportunities. We're offering you ownership equity in deals that you may find. So if you happen to find a distressed property and somebody that needs help, they're going through a foreclosure, a bankruptcy, they have liens or anything against their home, we're showing you how to find these leads, and then we're able to give you a cash offer, proof of funds, and ownership equity in the deal that you find and source. So you're able to make a commission, and you're also able to earn equity. You can earn up to 20% equity depending on how good the deal is. And I'll show you how to do the numbers and how to do the calculation to assess the deal, show you how to find the deal, assess the deal, and then be able to finance it for you. So you're able to earn owner equity in it, and you don't have to do any work. We kind of handle all the work for you when it comes to doing a turnkey to flip it, or as a rental, you can also earn cash flow. So you can earn your commission and cash flow. You don't have to put any money up, and we're going to give you ownership equity. So that gets you on the ownership side, and it gets you out of the mindset of thinking like an agent when you're approaching FSBOs or approaching your leads. I usually say a lot of times when I used to call FSBOs and I would tell them I'm a real estate agent, they would want to hang up on me, or they'd say, hey, you're the 8th agent that's called me or 10th agent that's called me. But when I changed my delivery and I said, hey, I'm an investor, hey, I'm a buyer, hey, I'm buying this with my cash, they responded differently. So I'm trying to give agents the opportunity to have that confidence and approach people with that angle to say that I'm an owner, I'm an investor, and changing your mindset. So when you see certain deals, you don't just think about chasing a commission, you're thinking about ownership. So that's what we're offering. I have a webinar that I explain all these details in on Thursdays at 1 o'clock, and I have the link in the chat.
Appreciate it, Trent. Good deal.
That's money, Trent. Love it. Good
deal.
for you, dude. That's a great agent attraction strategy too, right there.
That's right. Yeah. I want any new agents or any other referrals, y'all can send them over and I'll show them how it all works. We can make a lot of money.
Love it.
Awesome strategy.
Yeah. Just somebody's asking for the link. So put the link back in, Trent. Hector's actually asking for it.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else got a question or that they want to ask Al while we're here? Not often you get a chance to, talk to somebody that can has been through what he's been through and the experience that he's been able to have. So
Hey Al, not too long ago you sent me a text message, and I'm sure you sent it to a few people, but you talked about your daily goal, like who you're going to talk to, how do you determine what your actions, what your communications, and who you're going to reach out to for that day. It was kind of long, but do you mind just kind of hitting on that a little bit? If you can hear me.
I'm sorry, I had you on mute. Hang on, guys. Grab the leash back there. So what I do is I have my list segmented into I have my hot list, and then I have like my nurtures. And the nurtures, I only hit them about once every 3 weeks or so, because they're not showing heavy interest. So I'm not going to follow up with them weekly. My hot list are people who have indicated interest. They're interested, but maybe not ready. They're interested though, and they get a once a week follow-up text of something of value. It could be one of my videos on YouTube. It could be something EXP related or not. It could be just something inspirational. It could be something that relates to their dreams. What they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about me, it's about them. Okay. I'm big on gifts. There's a book that is a really good book that I think everybody should read called Giftology. And I'm actually friends with the author. He's a good guy. He's an Ohio guy. He doesn't live here now. But Giftology basically talks about the art of gifting, to be able to deepen relationships with the most important people in your life, right? And so it's something that I actually learned from Mike and Jay. At the time when I was a mastermind, I was a paying mastermind level coaching member. of Kinder Reese Mastermind. That's not a cheap check to write. It was like $1,500 a month or 2,000. It's like 2,000 a month. I can't remember, but it wasn't cheap. But their high-end clients, they got birthday gifts mailed to their house. They get random gifts mailed to their house. They call it surprise and delight. I'll tell you guys a little secret. Honey Badger Nation is going to be starting to get a lot of those surprise and delight gifts. I do it. If somebody I'm recruiting is having a baby, when that baby comes, they're getting a Honey Badger onesie and, you know, some other baby stuff mailed to their house. Okay. By the way, go to honeybadgernation.com and get your onesies. If you want to, you know, give those out as a gift, they make a great gift for a baby, girl or boy. And so I'm big on gifting, and because it goes a long way. And I'm not talking about, you know, a bottle of wine that's gone in a night. For some of us, it's gone in an hour and they ain't going to remember it. Right. Like, I want something that they're going to remember. And so, you know, that's part of my follow-up. Part of my follow-up is remembering the methodology of giftology, and giving without expecting anything in return, just giving. And it's been a philosophy, a methodology, a mindset that I've been using for more than 10 years, and it's served me well. So I don't know if that answered your question, but long-term nurture people once a month or every 3 weeks. I'm staying in touch. I'm staying with them, but the people on my hot list is once a week, sometimes more. It just kind of depends. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that was good. I just wanted you to briefly overview it. So that was good. That was a good touch.
I use a whiteboard.
Thank you so much for that. I would say this, Al, you made a valid point about gifts, like wanting to be gone in a night. And I was at a conference in California, and I met this company called Cutco, and they actually have customized nice soft cut like knives and things of that nature. You can put your logo on it. You can engrave it with your client's name as well. And so if you all don't know about Cutco, that's a good keepsake that you don't forget. And, you know, that was good, Al. Thank you.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. Who was that, by the way? So I can address you by name.
Oh, this Mika Calloway.
Hi, Mika. Hey, Mika. So I used to give out Cutco knives, and I love Cutco. I own Cutco knives. They're great gifts, great knives. What I did, though, was I put my name and phone number on the knives, which is great. But the giftology methodology says put their name on it. Because, again, it's about them, not us. And by the way, if you give them a really nice $100 Cutco knife, lifetimes, or, you know, with their name engraved, like their last name, it's going to go a lot, like it's going to go a lot further, and they're going to remember who gave them that knife. Just because your name's not on it doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying it's a mistake if you're putting your name. I did it.
Oh, no, it has the client's name. It just has my logo. So it's a part of it that has where you can put your logo, but it does have the client's name. Yeah, it's personalized for them.
I love it. I love it. Brilliant. I love Cutco knives. They stay around forever. But, you know, get creative and really think about them. You know what I mean? Like, think about what they love to do. I had a client of mine who loved fishing. I'm not big into fishing. When I was young, I loved fishing. I don't like fishing so much anymore. I don't like touching the fish. It's slimy on my fingers. I don't like fishy hands. But at one time I did. My client liked fishing. So I went and bought him some really cool fishing stuff because I knew that was important to him. And so follow-up just isn't making a text. It's not just making a call. It's doing it with the deeper meaning that you go. I'm telling you, it will, if you treat that follow-up like a business and like a personal relationship, it's going to pay you like a business if you treat it that way. You know, if you send them just a bunch of spam email about all new listings that are coming in, you'll probably end up getting unsubscribed, I would imagine. But if you put thought behind your follow-up, it's going to go a really long way and you're going to see results.
Love it. All right. Coming to the end here. Like, who else has a question for Al?
I'm coming with you.
Coming through. All right. All right. Well, anybody else before we go ahead and end this thing up? All right. Well, Al, buddy, man, I wanna thank you, man, for coming out and sharing with the group and you know, just playing all out and you know, letting everybody ask you questions and just being there for everybody, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Man, I always love your group. You guys are always live and ready, and you guys are always engaged, and we just appreciate you. Everyone in Honey Badger Nation, and even if you're not, we're open for business. We got room for you too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So remember, like I said, we do these every second Friday of every month where, you know, we're having somebody in our group sharing, you know, what they've done to be successful. If by chance that you're not already, you know, directly part of our group, the person that invited you, I mean, definitely reach out to them. Thank you. Let them know what you like most about it, everything, and connect with that particular person if they want to know more about how a partnership looks. The other thing is, you know, just coming up here, you know, we got two big events that's going to be happening. One is going to be the Bill Conference coming up here pretty soon. If you don't know about Tony Robbins and Bill, then you definitely need to reach out to the person that invited you, just to make sure that that you're fully aware of what you're possibly going to be missing. It's going to be a big deal. And then the other thing is going to be, you know, EXPCon as well. So appreciate everybody for coming out. Like I said, definitely get with the person that invited you. Let them know what you thought about the meeting, and you know, hopefully see everybody on the next one, which is the second Friday of the following month. Appreciate you again, Al, buddy. Hey,
great call, Al.
Man.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah,
Be
man.
safe, have fun.
Enjoy the lake for me, buddy. Enjoy the lake for me, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
Love it. Look at that view. Love it. Hey, I'm jealous now, man.
Take care, guys.
All right. Later.
All right, man. See you.
See everybody. Y'all have a good Friday.